There are some court cases that never go as planned, whether the case itself is unique in the worst ways and thus can confuse people, especially the jury, or things happen as the case goes down that no one saw coming. Currently, the case of YNW Melly has gotten many people talking because things keep happening in it that boggles the mind. Some of which happened just in the last few days and the weeks prior. For example, things got so out of hand that a mistrial request was brought up by Melly's team, and the prosecution countered with records of Melly trying to get a familiar gun.
But first, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload from us. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video.
Number 6. The gun. The YNW Melly trial has continued in Broward County, Florida, with a recent revelation by the prosecution proving to be a bit of a surprise for the defense. According to Local10.com, Christine Bradley, who is the prosecutor for the state of Florida, showed a set of text messages to the court on Friday that were allegedly sent between the rapper, real name Jamel Demons, and his mother months before the murders of Christopher Thomas, YNW Juvie, and Anthony Williams, YNW Sack Chaser. The text revealed that the rapper asked his mother for a gun back in August 2018, just 2 months before Thomas and William were killed in October 2018. "Get me a Glock ASAP," read one of the texts. Like, go now. I just don't want no illegal gun. The prosecution claimed that YNW Melly asked for the gun because a dispute arose between YNW Sack Chaser's mother and sister. But it's unclear whether YNW Melly was also involved in the dispute, or whether he wanted the gun for the benefit of the parties involved in a dispute. While a Broward County Sheriff's Office ballistics expert, Jorge Bello, previously testified that a .40 caliber shotgun was used to kill YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie, the defense has claimed that the texts weren't from Melly's phone and that the gun involved in the murders didn't belong to the Murder on My Mind rapper. What's more, YNW Melly ultimately settled for a Glock 40 or 19, per the previous text messages, but it's unclear which of the guns, if any, he actually acquired. But the fact that he was asking for a gun at all should give the jury pause. Plus, he noted he didn't want an illegal gun. That's oddly specific, as that seems to indicate that he might be caught with the gun and have to explain it. While it may be hard for the prosecution to prove that things went down exactly as the text shows, the fact that they have those texts at all were a big deal, and definitely put the defense on the back foot. Number 5. Fighting back. Although this latest testimony suggests that the defense has suffered a bit of a setback, YNW Melly has also been scoring his fair share of victories during the trial as well. According to legal analyst Terry Austin, who's been covering the trial extensively, Broward Circuit Judge John Murphy revealed on Wednesday that the prosecution failed to disclose a second forensic report that resulted in a discovery violation. Because of this, the information will now be excluded from the trial. Judge Murphy ruled at YNW Melly trial that prosecution committed a discovery violation for failure to disclose a second forensic report, she tweeted. That information will now be excluded. Well, it's hard to tell what that evidence would have done for the prosecution. It's never a good thing when you lose evidence in a case. Thankfully, the prosecution didn't lose the case altogether, which almost happened a while back. Number 4. The witness accusations. Felicia Holmes, a registered nurse, testified in the case a while back, and things didn't go as one would expect. "I heard that there might have been a shooting," said Holmes, whose daughter Mariah Hamilton, now 22, was in a relationship with Demons that she started in 2016 and lasted about 3 years. Attorneys argued about the reliability of Holmes' testimony after she said she didn't remember what happened, or her statements during a follow-up deposition on the record. "I feel threatened," Holmes said when she first took the stand, later addressing that she was referring to Assistant State Attorney Christine Bradley. Broward Circuit Judge John Murphy, who was presiding over the case, declared Holmes was a hostile witness to the state and allowed her testimony to continue. Holmes said in court that Demons music manager, Jameson 100K Track Francois, gave her $5,000 to rent an Airbnb, but not for personal use. Prosecutors appeared to be hinting at the possibility of witness tampering. "I was making $9,000 weekly. I didn't need explicit from them," Holmes wrote in a message on Instagram, according to the prosecutor's records displayed in court. The Instagram post, as displayed in court, showed Holmes complaining about alleged failed promises and her intent to cooperate with law enforcement. "The state has ruined my life," Holmes said during her testimony in court, adding that she'd been intimidated with threats of arrest and that the prosecution had lied about a subpoena, which forced her to hire an attorney. It's never a good thing when a prosecution is accused of misconduct in any way, even when it's just lies. But the real catch here was that this witness led to a 3 mistrial request. Defense attorney David Howard moved for a mistrial after Murphy dismissed Holmes and the jury, alleging that there had been a prejudicial fiasco in court. The defense accused the prosecution of calling Holmes to read out-of-court statements despite the court's ruling that it could not be done, to accuse them of witness tampering. This jury sat there and watched this fiasco unfold with at least 10, maybe 15 sidebars after every 2 questions, Howard said, adding that the highly prejudicial testimony had tainted the jury. Murphy asked the defense to talk to Demmons about the motion for mistrial and said he was going to review the transcripts of the testimony before making a decision about the motion. He ruled that he would make his decision on the following Tuesday, which led to plenty of speculation about what might happen. To make this as clear as possible, if the judge was to rule in YNW Melly's favor, the trial would be over and Melly would be ordered free that day. He has been in jail for the last 5 years more or less, and so that would have been the best opportunity for him to get out, short of being declared innocent by the jury. There were even statements being thrown around that Melly might not have been able to be charged again by the prosecution, which would have made it even more of a victory for him. But as you can guess based on the opening of this video, the answer was number 2, request denied. It's true, when court returned last week, the judge made it clear right off the bat that YNW Melly's case wouldn't be put to mistrial. And the aftermath of that ruling was felt as the rest of the court date went atypically, in terms of things basically going slow and trying to stretch things out. So clearly Melly's team thought that they had a winning strategy with the mistrial request, but it wasn't to be. Plus, that means the prosecution doesn't have to worry about another mistrial attempt, unless they really screw things up, which is likely a big relief on their minds. Number 1, the behavior notes. One other element of the case of YNW Melly that has been brought to light by many people who have watched the trial, and that's simply that Melly isn't acting how one would expect him to. By that, we mean that Melly has not only been calm during his time in court, but he's been acting uniquely to the gallery and jury. For example, he's been spotted multiple times looking at the jury every time they come in. He's also been seen praying when the jury enters the room or even blowing kisses to the sky. Some think that this is some kind of ploy to get their jury to like him and see him as an innocent victim of the system. But the victims' families aren't amused and demand that he take this seriously. One can only imagine what will happen next in the trial, as it doesn't seem to be anywhere close to being done. And there you have it, everyone, a look at the case of YNW Melly and the various actions by Melly and his defense team that got people's attention. Do you think that Melly's defense is slowly starting to unravel for him? Do you feel that things are only going to get worse as they continue to present evidence against him? What weird things do you think will happen next in the trial? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and we'll see you next time on the channel.